Former AEW star Shan Spears makes a shocking return to WWE on last night's edition of NXT. He since commented on the reason why he's back in WWE and also got a response from Cody Rhodes as well. Vince McMahon's replacement after his TKO executive chairman resignation has been revealed. An update from Tony Khan on AEW's media rights future. We've also got the first look at a brand new logo for AEW Dynamite with more changes to the production and sets coming in the near future. Nick Khan talks about the deal for Raw to be going to Netflix in 2025 and how that's going to help WWE. Details on The Rock's IP agreement with WWE/TKO Group Holdings. Charlie Dempsey is the brand new NXT Heritage Cup champion. Update on a women's tag team championship match scheduled for next week's NXT Roadblock special. The actual amount of the settlement between WWE and MLW in their antitrust lawsuit has been revealed. And tonight, Hangman Page is going to reveal his status for AEW Revolution on Dynamite. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about a shocking return last night on NXT, and that is a former AEW and WWE superstar Shan Spears, also known as Ty Dillinger, returning to WWE, specifically the NXT brand. Now, a familiar face returned to NXT on Tuesday night, albeit with a new name from the last time he was in the promotion. Shan Spears, formerly known in the company as the Perfect 10 Ty Dillinger, made his return to the show after he left AEW at the end of last year. Spears appeared after the phrase "truth will ultimately prevail, but there is pain bringing it to light" appeared on the video screens while Ridge Holland was in the ring addressing the fans. He appeared behind Holland and bashed him with a chair before pulling back his hood to reveal his identity. Now, Spears announced in December that his time with AEW had come to an end due to an amicable split between him and the company. Prior to the announcement, he hadn't been on television since the over-the-budget charity Battle Royale during the pre-show for All Out. He had, however, according to Dave Meltzer, been portraying one of the Devil's masked henchmen before his departure from the company. Spears put out a statement thanking AEW for his 5 years of growth and development and said it was a personal choice for him. He took time to focus on life away from the ring as he and his wife Cassie Lee, the former Peyton Royce in WWE, announced they were expecting their second child. Now, when it comes to some explanation as for why he's back in WWE, he did appear later on in the episode and explained his actions. He said, quote, "I like Ridge Holland, but he's been lying to himself for far too long. That jolt of pain that's currently coursing through his body, it's simply the truth. That's why I struck Ridge. The truth can bring you to your knees, and that's why Shan Spears is now in NXT. See you next week at Roadblock." He then took to social media shortly thereafter and posted the following, saying simply, "I'm back." But also, we got a reference from a very close friend of Shan Spears, the same man that brought him to AEW in the first place and was a tag team champion with Spears in developmental in WWE, that being the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, who simply tweeted 10, of course a reference to Spears' former gimmick in WWE. Now, when it comes to more details about Spears coming back to the company, as I mentioned, on the February 27th edition of NXT, Shan Spears made his return to the brand, attacking Ridge Holland and being revealed as the man behind the Three Faces vignette. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, Fightful's Corey Brennan has been told multiple details on Spears' return. Fans had wondered what name Spears would go by, but Brennan can confirm that he will go by Shan Spears in this run. According to the report from Fightful, few in NXT were aware of Spears' return, with one talent noting it was a complete shock. As of 8 p.m. Eastern, Spears was not listed on internal documents, nor was anyone else listed for Ridge Holland's promo outside of someone listed as Quote Man. In terms of rehearsals, Shawn Michaels would fill Spears' role in rehearsal with Holland earlier on in the day. One source told Brennan that Spears was signed to a deal sometime before the first Three Faces vignettes began to air. Spears was well received backstage following his return and was hidden backstage prior as well. AEW sources had reportedly indicated to Fightful Select that Spears had been let out of his AEW deal early. So certainly great measures were went to keep this a secret and a surprise last night. What do you make of the surprise? What do you make of the return? What do you think the ceiling is for Shan Spears in WWE? Do you think he just sticks with NXT? Do you think he eventually goes back to the main roster? Do you think he eventually, once again, aligns himself with Cody Rhodes? How do you think this one's going to play out? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, an update when it comes to Vince McMahon, of course, who's no longer associated with WWE and TKO Group Holdings. For the first time in the company's history, WWE is a McMahon-free company following Vince McMahon resigning from his position in both WWE and TKO Group Holdings. This came as a result of the lawsuit filed against McMahon, former head of talent relations John Laurinaitis, and WWE itself by former employee Janelle Grant, who has stated she was a victim of sex trafficking, multiple counts of abuse, and sexual assault. While WWE's on-screen product has seen little change in the weeks following McMahon's resignation due to the fact that he had no input in the creative direction of the company, he was the executive chair of the TKO board. However, that role has now been filled as confirmed by an SEC filing following the company's yearly business report being released. It was confirmed that the company's CEO Ari Emanuel will take McMahon's place, while Steve Koonin will now act as the company's lead independent director. The form read, quote, "On February 22, 2024, following Vincent McMahon's resignation from the position of executive chair of the board in January 2024, the board appointed Ari Emanuel, the company's chief executive officer, as executive chair of the board. In addition, the independent directors of the board established the position of lead independent director and appointed Stephen R. Koonin to serve in such role. Both appointments became effective as of February 22, 2024. So that is the latest when it comes to Vince McMahon. Any more details on the lawsuit, any more allegations against Vince McMahon, of course, we'll bring you to you in a future video. Now, AEW. What's going on with AEW and their media rights? Of course, we know where all of the lead WWE programming is going. SmackDown's going to USA Network. NXT's going to the CW. And, of course, maybe the biggest deal of all was Raw heading to Netflix in 2025. But what's happening now with AEW now that all of WWE's properties are off the table? Now, 2024 is a big year for change among the major international professional wrestling companies. WWE has already confirmed that they will be moving Raw to Netflix in 2025, as well as NXT to the CW and SmackDown to USA Network in the fall of 2024. AEW also has a big year of negotiations ahead of them, as President Tony Khan will be looking to see what the next move is for both AEW and Ring of Honor as well. Speaking to GV Wire, Khan seemed excited for the upcoming negotiations with Warner Brothers Discovery. Quote, "It's going to be great," Khan said. "We're up at the end of 2024 and we're going to be in a very good position. I think it's a really exciting time for the wrestling business, and with a company like AEW that's done the kind of ratings we have, we're going to be in a great position," end quote. Now, one of the reasons Khan is so excited to negotiate is because of the bond AEW has with Warner Brothers Discovery. Quote, "We have a great relationship with Warner Brothers Discovery. It's been a great partner. We expanded recently from 3 hours of programming across TBS and TNT to 5 hours, and that's going really well. We have a great relationship set with them, and I think it will be very exciting next year to see how this all shakes out," end quote. Warner Brothers Discovery has already put a lot of faith in AEW when it comes to cross-promoting, as AEW Dynamite has previously themed episodes around shows on corporate sibling networks like House of the Dragon, Rick and Morty, Shark Week, and others. And when it comes to the future of AEW in general, Khan spoke with GV Wire to discuss the company's future, and he said he hopes AEW can continue to grow and thrive in the current wrestling climate. He said, quote, "I think in 5 years we'll be coming up on that 10-year anniversary, and I think as we approach our 10-year anniversary, we can hopefully continue to grow, expand," Khan said. "Last year we had our debut in England, which was a record-setting show with over 81,000 tickets sold at Wembley Stadium, and I hope we can continue to grow, hit milestones, and make fans all over the world really happy about pro wrestling." So seemingly Khan is feeling optimistic when it comes to the future of AEW. What are your thoughts when it comes to the media rights negotiations with AEW and WBD? Do you think AEW will stick with the network? Do you think that they'll get an increase on their media rights? Do you think they'll stay the same? Do you think they'll get lower? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, there are a lot of changes coming up to AEW Dynamite in the next couple of weeks, and one of which has already been partially revealed, and that's a brand new logo for AEW Dynamite. You can see it on the screen right there. A first look at the brand new AEW Dynamite logo ahead of its debut on the March 6th episode of Dynamite has been revealed. On February 14, AEW President Tony Khan took to social media to tease that Dynamite would be receiving a revamped set and logo following the AEW Revolution pay-per-view this weekend. Ahead of this weekend's major event, it seems like fans will be able to get a first look at the brand new logo for All Elite Wrestling's flagship show. On February 27, Fightful Sean Ross Sapp took to social media to post a look at the new Dynamite logo. The new design has a red background with the lettering for Dynamite being white with a multicolour trim. This was first used as part of the promotion for AEW's upcoming Canada shows as well. What do you make of the logo? What would you like to see when it comes to cosmetic changes to AEW Dynamite? Is that going to make much of a difference when there are still fundamental issues like creative, storytelling, etc.? Do you think this is just doing a fresh coat of paint on something that needs greater work? Let me know your thoughts about that as well. Now, we spoke about media rights. Of course, as I mentioned, WWE's been very busy when it comes to their media rights negotiations over the last 12 months. Now, WWE President Nick Khan has explained how the Netflix Raw deal will help WWE become a global localized product. In January, WWE announced that Raw would be heading over to Netflix in a $5 billion deal that will start in January of next year. For months now, there have been discussions within WWE in regards to the NXT Europe brand. The country and continent has been without an NXT brand since September 2022 when NXT UK shut down. On the latest TKO earnings call, WWE President Nick Khan was asked about WWE's upcoming deal with Netflix and if the deal will impact the future of NXT Europe. He answered, quote, "For us, a global localized product has always been a priority. We think Netflix helps us with that. If you look at the premium live event schedule for this calendar year, Perth, Australia this past weekend, Berlin, France, Riyadh, Canada, all over the world. Look for down the road more local stars from those markets as we expand our tryouts to international markets, so we feel confident over time that will be covered and be part of the Netflix deal." Endeavor's Mark Shapiro went on to add that the Netflix deal won't stop the company from creating new content, saying, quote, "Our Netflix deal doesn't preclude us from creating new content and events and programming on a global basis. We just have some first look rights they would have a window to essentially evaluate. NXT across the board, we have the opportunity to create all new material, sell it for an incremental rights fee, but they are going to be first in line to pay that rights fee. So certainly it's going to be very interesting." Now, TKO also addressed the programming future for Raw when their deal with USA Network expires in the latter half of this year, 2024, saying they're still in negotiations and figuring out what's going to happen with that, because of course there is going to be that gap between what happens when the deal with USA Network expires and actually goes to Netflix as well. Now, a big story, of course, was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson joining the TKO board of directors, but also getting the rights to the Rock name from WWE/TKO Group Holdings. As I mentioned, it was recently revealed that Dwayne Johnson had received the intellectual property rights of The Rock from TKO, and now more details have emerged about what the IP includes. As per TKO's latest SEC filings, reported by Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, several of Johnson's nicknames and catchphrases in WWE are part of the IP, aside from just The Rock name. The list includes the nicknames like the People's Champion, the Brahma Bull, the Great One, as well as Rocky Maivia, his first WWE ring name, and Rockpocalypse, a video game that was released over a decade ago. These are what's included in this IP agreement. The Rock, Rocky Maivia, Team Corporate, Rock Nation, The Nation, Rudy Poo, Candy Ass, Jabroni, If You Smell What The Rock Is Cooking, The Samoan Sensation, The Blue Chipper, The Brahma Bull, The People's Champion, The Great One, Know Your Role and Shut Your Mouth, Team Bring It, The Rock Just Bring It, The People's Elbow, Rock Bottom, Finally, The Rock Has Come Back Too, It Doesn't Matter What, Blue Hell, The Millions and Millions, Rockpocalypse, Project Rocked, The Most Electrifying Man in Sports and Entertainment. TKO, the parent company of WWE, as I mentioned, announced in January that The Rock would be part of the board of directors, while also revealing that he would hold full ownership of Johnson's iconic WWE ring name. Reports had later revealed that Johnson could license the Rock name to WWE and make money out of it, while he would also receive around $30 million worth of TKO stock by the end of the year. Following the announcement, Johnson stated that he owed his success in the ring and world of cinema to the Rock name, and claimed that it goes further than the economic and business aspect of the deal. Now, going back to NXT last night, we saw a title change on the show as Charlie Dempsey is the brand new NXT Heritage Cup champion. Now, NXT Heritage Cup champion Noam Dar did not know which member of the No Quarter Catch crew he would be facing heading into this week's NXT. On Tuesday, the Catch crew's Charlie Dempsey stepped up to challenge Dar and defeated the three-time Heritage Cup holder. Adding further to Dar's detriment, he was only accompanied by one member of the Metaphor, or Omensa, while No Quarter Catch crew was at full strength, playing a role in the match's conclusion. Dempsey scored the first 4, and following 2 rounds of the match were ruled draws. Through the third round saw a flurry of back and forth submission maneuvers between the two competitors. Dar wasted no time in round 4 going after Dempsey with a flurry of offense, including a Nova Roller. He was able to score his first and only pinfall in the round. Dar couldn't get the job done, however, as in round 5, no quarter catch crew got involved in the match, causing the distraction for Dempsey to hit Dar with a half Nelson suplex and pin him to win the Heritage Cup Championship. The stable celebrated in the ring as Dar headed up the rank with Aura Mensa, as the pair were met by Lash Legend, all in shock. Dar has had 3 reigns with the Heritage Cup for a combined total of over 700 days. Now, speaking of titles, we're going to be getting a title match next week on NXT as part of this Roadblock special. Now, ahead of her title defense last week, NXT Women's Champion Lyra Valkyria instructed the ever-obsessive Tatum Paxley to stay backstage. And in a surprising turn of events, Paxley did just that, allowing Valkyria to defeat Lash Legend on her own accord in the main event of NXT. As a reward for her following her directive, Valkyria has now provided Paxley with an exciting surprise. On this week's episode of NXT, Valkyria revealed that the two will be challenging the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, for the Women's Tag Team Championships. The title match in reference will be taking place on next Tuesday's special NXT Roadblock episode. So that title match is set for next week. Now, this has been bubbling on for quite some time, this antitrust lawsuit between WWE and MLW. Now, in January of 2022, Major League Wrestling filed an antitrust lawsuit against WWE. When the two companies reached a settlement to end the lawsuit in December 2023, there was no word on what the amount was for which the two parties had settled. In a recent TKO Group Holdings 2023 earnings report, the figure that was agreed upon between the two promotions was revealed. Quotes, for the 12-month period ended December 31st, 2023, the company's consolidated pre-tax results included $34.2 million in costs related to certain litigation matters at UFC and WWE, including the impact of a $20 million charge related to a settlement of an antitrust lawsuit at WWE, end quote, the report read. While MLW was not officially named as the company involved in the lawsuit in TKO's business report, a separate form filed with the SEC named Major League Wrestling, noting that the two parties entered into a settlement agreement on December 22nd, 2023. The case was dismissed 4 days later. Now, MLW had accused WWE of interfering with the company's potential deals with TV networks like Vice TV and streaming services like Tubi, claiming that WWE was pressuring third parties to abandon deals with MLW and other wrestling companies to maintain a monopoly over the wrestling business. The suit was originally dismissed in February 2023, but after MLW filed an amendment, a judge denied WWE's motion to dismiss the amended lawsuit. Before it settled, the antitrust suit had reportedly affected WWE's ability to recruit talent, as the company had to be very careful not to make any slip-ups that could appear to be any kind of talent poaching or contract tampering, but now it's settled reportedly for $20 million. Finally, Hangman Adam Page will be live on AEW Dynamite tonight amid rumours that he could be dealing with an injury. Now, ever since AEW Dynamite went off the air last week with Hangman Adam Page holding his ankle, speculation has run rampant regarding his status for AEW Revolution this weekend, where he's scheduled to wrestle Swerve Strickland and Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship. First reports indicated that Page had broken his ankle, followed by the news that the injury had been at work. Additional information was later revealed that the angle took place because Page's Revolution status was up in the air due to a personal issue. Whatever is going on with Page, all questions will be answered tonight live on AEW Dynamite. Taking to X late Tuesday evening, AEW owner Tony Khan announced that Page would announce his status for Revolution on the show. In making the announcement, Khan also acknowledged the rumours that Page had suffered an injury during last week's main event. Page secured his title shot alongside Strickland on the February 7th episode of Dynamite, when he and Strickland wrestled a 30-minute time limit draw, with Khan subsequently declaring both men as number one contenders. While it's not entirely clear what would happen with the AEW World title match should Page have to step aside, it would seem likely that the match would become a singles match between Strickland and Joe, with Page receiving a title shot possibly at a later date. Page's announcement is the latest thing added to the final Dynamite before Revolution. The show will also feature Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley of the Blackpool Combat Club taking on FTR and Eddie Kingston, Will Ospreay's first Dynamite appearance since signing with AEW last fall, and Sting's final Dynamite appearance prior to his retirement this weekend. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.